failure.
I walked in there and said, listen, I've committed multiple felonies. Am I going to go to jail? Well, probably. Well, then see ya. Bye.
Why would I give you my money?
You're useless. I went into some other man. That was a female. I went to a man's office, said I've committed multiple felonies.
There are things we can do. We could try this. We could try that.
No problem.
I make one call.
You don't go to jail.
There's no problem.
No problem.
We said.
For anybody out there that was actually looking to question as to why they would even arrest this guy at this point, it's because they're looking to build a case against him, so they're going through the evidence, and unfortunately, building evidence really does take a lot of time. I got so curious about some of the stuff that was being said about Andrew Tate that I just simply looked up Andrew Tate confesses. That's all I did. And the litany of stuff that popped up blew my mind. It was just video after video after video of just stuff popping up, and then this one video popped up, which is exactly what we're going to be looking at here today. Let me apologize in advance for some of the quality of what you're going to see here. It's mainly here just for you to listen to. This man snitched on himself so many times. When you start looking into one piece of confession, and then that turns out to be true, now you start looking at bank accounts. Listen to some of the crimes that they're actually looking into. Human trafficking, money laundering. Let's just stop at those two for a moment. When you start talking about money laundering, now you start talking about bank accounts. Now you start looking into what transactions has he made? When has he made transactions? When has he flown people in? Who has he flown in? What kind of company does he keep? When they take your phone, they start looking through it. Now they start piling on more evidence after more evidence. This is why these arrests keep on coming. So there's this video out here. 50 minutes of Andrew Tate just talking and talking and talking. And at some point in time, it has to be frustrating to be this guy's lawyer, because you really are tempted, and I know you probably don't want to say this, but you really are tempted to just tell him, shut the hell up. Stop talking. What is it with you in the camera that as soon as it's in front of you, you have to talk? So I'm going to stop talking now. I'm going to pause every now and then we're going to come back and comment, but I want you guys to listen and watch this. This is 50 minutes long. I'm not going through all these 50 minutes. I'm going to break this up into two parts. So I'm going to stop it at about halfway, and then I'll come back because, yeah, it is literally just Andrew dry snitching on himself. So let's take a look.
So for me, fighting was just an outlet, because if I didn't put it into fighting, I would end up in jail. But the majority of my money was actually made in the pimp game. I say that, people think I'm making it up. It's true. This is why I think I have a bit of a following on Twitter, because I have a unique resume. Like, there's a whole bunch of guys on, but not many, like world champion kickboxer, pimp, mafia associated criminal. Like, I've got all this stuff, and it was like, who is this dude? Like, surely it can't all be true. I'm like, it's all true. I had a fight coming up. The fight was too far away from money, and I needed money today. So I was sitting there thinking, how can I make money? What do I have that's worth money? Like, what do I have that I can even sell? And I was sitting there, and the only thing I had was all these girlfriends. I was sitting there writing down my assets. Like, what do I own? What do I possess? So I got these 7 hot chicks. Plus, I'm a master of the game. Long story short, I decided to start with webcam, and I flew all the girls into England. I needed money, man. I needed to get paid. I didn't have time to be messing around. That's how I made it to the top. That's basically my story. I mean, I was a fighter, and I ended up, because I had game, I just ended up in the pimp game, and I built this webcam business. And
I'm training these girls, and it got to the point where it was easier if I just typed myself. So what we ended up doing was, we had the 2 girls on camera with a keyboard, which wasn't plugged in, doing this. And then I was behind the screen talking to the dudes, saying the right things, and start dragging money out the internet. And for me, I mean, this is a long time ago, right? This is about, how old am I now? I'm 34, so I was about 28. So about 6, 7, maybe 8 years ago, right? And making money online nowadays is far more popular than it was even 8 years ago. Who do you know 8 years ago who made money from YouTube or from online?
Yeah,
nobody.
It's just booming. It's just starting.
It's just starting. So when I started dragging money from the internet, it was like mind-blowing to me. And I'm sitting there typing, and I'd type 16, 17 hours a day, but I'd pull in, let's say, $3,000 a day, $4,000 a day. So that became my new life, right? I went from kickboxer to fucking pretend girl on the internet for about 3 months. I'm just typing until the girls learn. And once the girls learned they could do it themselves, then I thought, I need some more chicks. And that was kind of the beginning of the cam empire. I'm taking over. So what I did is I unplugged their keyboards and plugged a new one in from me behind the screen. Chicks would sit there and hit a keyboard that wasn't plugged in. And me and my brother would do all the talking. The girls were just pure, just famoosers, just laughing and doing this. And they were talking to fucking ice cold hustlers. We were taking their money, all of it.
Any girl who's around me long enough sees Tristan bring 4 or 5.
Let me pause there, just right there for a second. The ice cold hustlers that he's talking about, taking their money, these are the same working class guys that now pay for his hustler university and such and such. So these are the same guys who say, I would never be hustled by Andrew Tate. I would never be hustled by Andrew Tate. You're still getting hustled by Andrew Tate. You paid for the hustler university, right? So that's his new hustle, to get you to do the exact same thing that he was doing, but you're not going to. He's telling them it was all a grift, it was all a hustle, and they're fine with it. They're fine with the fact that they were all victimized by this guy.
5 girls a day inside the house. She goes, how do I know I'm not one of them girls? I'm like, baby, I'm the good brother. And then Tristan will go, yeah, he's the good brother, and roll his eyes. She'll kind of be like, are they joking? Are they not? And it eases her into the idea. If she's around it for a few weeks and she sees Tristan doing all this and Tristan's making jokes, what they end up doing is laughing and joining in the jokes. They end up saying, Tristan, that last one, she really likes you. Which one's coming next? And like being his friend about it. So when she's his friend about all the pimping, it's harder for her to get mad at me when she catches me doing the pimping.
How much would you give them? Can you give us an idea of like how much money you were pulling on? Because I've seen you tweet shit about guys sending your girls like $1,000, $5,000 in cash just as a one-off. And I know how desperate guys are. Like what kind of turnover were you talking? And what kind of percentage would you give the girls?
Okay, so my best girl would do about $40,000 a month.
Oh my God!
And
Sean, we're in the wrong gender.
Maybe.
And how much?
Is it 14 or 40?
40.
Oh, Christ.
Jesus.
And I'd give her $1,000 a week. I'd give her
$1,000. Okay, so that's generous. I mean, that's a
she gets $1,000. She gets a
Yeah, he tends to talk like that, where he says, he pronounces the T exactly. He says 4T. So $40,000. So if she's doing about $40,000 every month, and he's giving her $1,000 a week, that's $4,000 every month. So then she gets about 10% of that, $40,000, and he's keeping 36. All right, take that in.
$1,000 a week. She gets free rent. She ain't got to worry about nothing. If I travel or we travel, I pay for everything, whatever. But $36,000 a month, I'm keeping.
Wow. And that was your best girl. What was your worst?
Well, bro, I had some.
The first big money I ever made in my life, I first became a multimillionaire by running a webcam studio. So I had beautiful women sitting on computers talking to guys on webcams from all around the world. That's how I first made my money. And at one point, I had 75 women in 4 locations working for me, which was stressful and the wrong way to do it. I ended up removing my army and going to special forces of around 15 people, 15 girls. And me and my brother made a lot of money doing that. But the PhD course, the Pimping Host degree, was teaching people how I managed females.
Hear that again. Y'all got to hear that again.
Webcams from all around the world. That's how I first made my money. And at one point, I had 75 women in 4 locations working for me, which was stressful and the wrong way to do it. I ended up removing my army and going to special forces of around 15 people, 15 girls. And me and my brother made a lot of money doing that. But the PhD course, the Pimping Host degree, was teaching people how I managed females in those scenarios, how I controlled their emotions, how I convinced them to work and give me most of their money, how I convinced them to share me with other women, why they obeyed me. So it was never so much about out there picking up girls. It was actually something else. It was more about the psychology of things. And I'm saying, look, I'm a theorist, here's the theory. Yeah. That's fine. And he's managed to be quite successful just doing that. If he were to start lying and saying, I'm fucking all these 16-year-old women or 18-year-old women, whatever the law is in America. 18?
It's 18 usually. You get married at 16.
All right, in Romania it's 16, sorry. Yeah. So if I'm fucking all these 18-year-old women, blah, blah, blah. Well, then he's added a bunch of lies on top of the character. I don't understand why. I think if you truly have something to say, you truly understand the game, you don't need to tell a bunch of lies. Once you start saying you're a playboy and you're slaying pussy, well, now you have a huge issue. And the issue is, where's your proof?
Receipts.
I'm the only guy on Twitter who's putting up pictures of him with hot girls. Yeah. But if you're not gonna kick her out for certain things, then she's gonna continue to do certain things. I get these messages all the time from guys. Hey, I got this girlfriend, I really like her, but she has these male friends. Make her choose. You are the friends. She's gonna fuck one of them eventually. Otherwise, like, what are you delaying this for? If you are arguing about male friends and she continues to want these male friends, she obviously is gonna get drunk one night and suck some dick. We know that. You know that. Everyone knows that. So tell her, choose me or the male friends. If she chooses the male friends and walks out on you, you've saved yourself a whole ton of time. Yep. What am I talking about? I don't want to come across as sexist. I'm a realist.
And reality is sexist.
There's no sexist pigs here.
Yeah,
Not at all.
I'm a realist, and reality is sexist, right? So sometimes if I'm with a chick or whatever, and we're in a situation, she gives me her opinion, and I'm like, look, without disrespect, you're a 19-year-old female. What do you know about the world? You don't know anything about anything. Just leave it to me. You don't know anything. I don't expect you to know anything. So I don't know why you're trying to give me your opinion, because I don't put any responsibility on you to perform in basically any way outside of the bedroom. So just shush. Don't worry about it. Leave it to me, right? So, yeah, the reality is sexist. I guess I'm a little bit of a sexist, but that's how it goes.
So here now, he actually starts to get into his whole recruitment process, how he finds girls, where he finds girls, what he says to them when he takes them out, and even he talks about who closes this deal, because it's not him who's closing the deal. He's just doing like all the lead generation work and all the meetings and whatnot. But when it comes down to who actually finishes the deal with the girl, because that's exactly what this is. This is all a business deal to him. All of this is business. These girls that he's saying stuff like, you know, you got to make sure that they love you so that they're committed to you. Yeah, they mean nothing to him. And it sounds like they're getting like a 10% return on all the money that they're making. Here's this process that he goes over. Take a look.
You cannot get a girl to work for you having fucked. So the recruitment process is the same as the PhD course. You message them on Instagram. The PhD course is my recruitment system. I don't mention webcam until after I've had sex with the girl. If you're on dates and you're trying to mention it and shit, it just doesn't work. It puts them off. I'd never do that. That's disgusting. I'm not a whore. It's just not gonna work. You continue as normal, no mention of webcam. You fuck the girl. After you fuck the girl, you do the PhD test. If she passes the PhD test and she wants to be with you, then you start mentioning things like, yeah, but you know, you're always busy. You're always at work. You can come work for me.
Manipulation.
So, as I said, you cannot try and approach girls to do webcam. Hi, do you want to do webcam? It's bullshit. It doesn't work. No one's going to say yes. And any girl who does say yes is doing it. She doesn't like you. She doesn't know you. She doesn't love you. She's saying yes purely for money. I'm gonna sneeze. And any girl who wants money that bad is going to skank you and leave you when she realizes you get a big cut of it. So even if you do get a girl to say yes that way, even if you do say to a girl, look, let's make some money, she's only in it for the money. She's not in it to please you. And if she's only in it for the money, she's going to get pissed off with her cut. Because they're going to Google up how much a token's worth, how many tokens they made, and all that shit. And get pissed off with their cut. Remember the tax thing, so you only have to pay them 30% instead of 50%. It's important for your profitability. So you don't...
This is like Iceberg Slim, but not as tactical.
So you meet a girl, you take her on dates, you fuck her, whatever. She passes the PhD test. Then you start saying things like, oh yeah, but you're always working. I have to do some traveling and you can't come. I want to bring you with me. Traveling is a great one because the thing about this business is mobile. If you can find a good Airbnb with good internet, you can run it somewhere else. So it's a good little caveat to throw in. Oh, and you're always working. Why don't you work for me so we spend more time together? Work for you doing what? So you'll have a webcam business. Oh, I don't want to do that. So, okay, I know you don't want to do that, but listen. Come, let's have a meeting. Let's just talk about it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Fine. But let me explain it to you properly. In fact, I'll bring one of the girls who works for me. You, your bottom bitch, the new girl, you go out for fucking a nice dinner. Your bottom bitch is the one who does the selling. You don't do the selling. The girl has to hear it from a girl. And this is where your bottom bitch has to be trained. That's why I said it's so important to have a good first girl. My first girl was so good, it was easy. My girl would sit there and go, oh my God, before this I was a waitress and it was shit, and now I do this and I make so much money, and the guys all love me and they adore me, and on my birthday they send me presents, and I get so much money, blah, 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 and it's so much fun, and we stay at home, and da-da-da-da, and we're gonna go to Thailand soon, and we're gonna be working in Thailand, and we're gonna stay there for as long as we want, you should come with us, it's gonna be so much fun, da-da-da-da, martinis, 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 bang, threesome. Slam them both, your bottom bitch knows, this girl's like, okay, well I'll try it. Put both girls on camera together the first day, so the new girl can sit there and just sit with the other girl and get drunk. Give them a bottle of vodka, put on the fucking chatterbait, 100 tokens per shot. The guys will send loads of money to get the girls drunk, because guys like drunk girls. Girls will sit there, get drunk, have a great time. You say it's your new job now, you haven't go to work ever again. That's how you recruit girls. You do not recruit girls any other way.
So did we all get that? That's the recruiting process that he goes through in terms of getting girls. Everyone's on board? All right. So now, you too can make that happen for you. And I'm sure that this is exactly what he was telling all those guys that would pay for his courses when they would be trying to do the exact same thing. How did you get into this? How did you make money? And he would say, well, I made money by doing this, right? I made money by setting up girls to do a little webcam business on my behalf. When he was doing it by himself, you know, he would sometimes pull a keyboard away, and you saw all that, right? This is all going to be taken into consideration when it comes down to, he said he had 75, then he had 15. Okay, well, who were the 15? Who were the 75? All these girls that didn't work with him, all the one girl that he's going to give a description of that he had to discipline by kicking her out or something along those lines. A lot more confessing comes. And when I say confessing, I'm not just talking like, you know, it's implied on what he's saying. No, he actually doesn't know how to just keep his mouth closed. He's his own worst enemy when it comes down to like being a witness. Don't believe me? Yeah. Keep watching.
This might be some money. So I text all my girlfriends, I think it was 5 of them, text all 5, said, you're all coming here to live with me and work with me. So Tristan will tell you the story. He'll tell you. All 5 flew in, picked them all up. They're all sitting there. I sat them around the same table. Listen, I need to get paid, right? I'm broke now. I have no money. I'm running out of money. So I put them all around the same table, and I was like, look, we're going to start a webcam business. You're going to stay. You're going to live in London. I'm going to look after you, and we're going to get rich. We're going to be a team. And they're all like, well, who's this bitch? I'm like, she's my girlfriend. She's my girlfriend. She's my girl. You're all my chicks. And you're going to stay here, and we're going to make some money. Big fight kicks off, blah, 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 blah. 3 left, 2 stayed. Those are my first 2 girls. And we started this little webcam business from my apartment. And it just grew and grew and grew. And it got to the point where at one point I had 75 women working for me in 4 locations. Damn. And I was doing $600,000 a month. This is in the UK. But this leads into the story of why I moved to Romania. So at the height of my webcam pimping, I think I'm the king of the world, right? I have all these women, da-da-da. But the problem is, my first 2 girls who worked for me because they loved me. I love this man, from the ghetto streets to the hotel suites. So we're working together. But then once you get bigger, you start hiring girls who don't love you. They're in it for the money. And then I had one girl, and she got too drunk one day, and she threw up in my apartment. I told her to clean up. She refused to clean up, started being an idiot. So I took her stuff, threw out the window. You never hit a girl, right? Can't do that. But if all the other girls see me be disrespected, they're going to lose respect for me.
Facts.
Right?
Yep.
So when she's like, I ain't cleaning that up, you get that. So I was like, look, I don't care. And she was my biggest earning girl. She made me on her own maybe $25,000 a month.
Oh, shit.
So I didn't want to fire her. And she knew I didn't want to fire her, which is more reason why I had to fire her ass. So I was like, all right, cool. You want to be a gangster? Right, you're a gangster. Got her shit. We're like high up. We're like high up, like here. It was just out the window. So throws out the window. Got her by her 2 arms and marched her out the door, locked the door. End of it. She starts texting me, you owe me my last month's wages, you owe me my money, give me my money. Did I text her back? I ain't paying you nothing, you threw up my blah, 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 blah. She went to the police.
Oh, shit.
And told the police I hit her. 4 months later, 5 in the morning, 4 months later, I'm laying in bed. And I heard the door, boom, 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 boom. And I don't know how I knew. I just knew it was police. As soon as I heard that noise, I just paused for a second. I heard police, but I didn't know what it was for, right? But there's a few things I can't say in the podcast. I've lived a varied life. Right? I've done some things when I had to pay the bills.
Right.
So I was a bit like, what's this going to be? So I like flush my phone down the toilet quickly. Boom. I'm coming. So I'm trying to hide shit. I'm looking around. Like, what do I have to hide?
Also, when you're real G, is that you're here, you're there, you're everywhere. You got to go to Poland, you got to go to Warsaw, fucking Dubai, Miami. Anyone who watches State Confidential knows I'm all over the place. So I end up with all these chicks just stuck in their house, sitting there, bored, completely in love with me. And of course, they don't go out. They're not allowed out.
I don't even have to fuck you. Forget the sex part. That's a distraction. My dick can stay in my pants. I'll just start beating the shit out of you. How about that? We walk in the bedroom. I start kicking your ass. No sex. No sex involved. But you cry then.
Here's a little move. When I grab you by your neck and you start annoying me, trying to resist, and I just...
Passports, man. If I fuck up and England wants me in jail, I can fly on a Nigerian passport, or an American, or an English, or a Polish, or an Estonian. I have so many passports. What, are you going to block them all? They can't stop me traveling. There's always a passport I can pull out. There's always a driver's license I can pull out. If you ban one, I've got another one. I have so many passports. What, are you going to block them all?
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly why it's taken a while just to arrest you in the way that they want to arrest you, because they are looking to block them all, because they know, as cooperative as he has been, and he has been cooperative with the Romanian police, as cooperative as he has been, they know at any point in time he has this passport, he has that passport, and as long as all of that is verified, then they need to make sure that they keep an eye on this guy at all times. What, are you going to block them all? Yeah, that's kind of what they're looking to do.
They can't stop me traveling. There's always a passport I can pull out. There's always a driver's license I can pull out. If you ban one, I've got another one. I've got bank.
Am I a bad person? Because the more you didn't like it, the more I enjoyed it. I fucking loved how much you hated it. Turned me on. Why am I like that? Why? I am one of the most dangerous men on this planet. Sometimes you forget exactly how lucky you were to get fucked by me. Would you rather me pin you down and make you do things you didn't like, or would you rather fuck? You didn't like that I was thinking I can do whatever I want to. That's what it is. I'm the smartest person on this fucking planet. Are you seriously so offended I strangled you a little bit? You didn't fucking pass out. Chill the fuck out. Jesus Christ, I thought you were cool. What's wrong with you?
Holy shit. So yeah, that's what a lot of these girls had to go through. Him just openly, brazenly admitting that he would just like happily assault them. He'd just have like a lot of fun while doing it. And the more that they were upset and wanted to get away from him, the happier he would get. He's just like, by definition, caricature of like a rapist.
Can we switch up and talk a little bit more?
No, interesting is control. It's very blatantly control. He likes to feel that he's the smartest person in the room. So as long as he continues to think that way, then yeah, you're completely beneath him. So this is how he looks at these girls. You are simply here to make him money. There's a great book out there. I already mentioned the name once. Iceberg Slim. Remember that name, right? Iceberg Slim. He wrote a book called Pimp, The Story of My Life. He goes through all of this in detail of how it is that you actually control a female, how it is that you control one of your girls in terms of a working girl. By working girl, you know what I mean, street working girl, right? Lady of the night. By how it is that you control a lady of the night. He goes through all of that in terms of how he got into their heads, so that when they're going out making money, they're not going out making money in terms of thinking that they're making money for themselves. They're making money in terms of thinking that they're making money for him. They're making his money. He had them so mentally messed up that it was basically just an extension. The way that they looked at it, it was basically just an extension of him. These girls were all just an extension of him. That's how they saw it. So Andrew, that's why I say, Andrew's like a much lower version of that, but nonetheless, though, same tactic. Iceberg Slim, Pimp, Story of My Life. Excellent, excellent read. Absolutely fantastic. There's so much detail in this book. I would guarantee you would enjoy this book if ever you read it.
More about your businesses?
This is exactly why I wanted to watch this, by the way.
I'm for moosing these dudes, right? So sell the dream, sell the dream, sell the dream. We got to the point where we had these guys selling their houses, life savings, loans, all of it to me. Give me it all.
What was the most that one person sent total?
Million?
Wow. Feel bad or no?
No. To give you solitary.
I gotta hear that again. Sorry, I didn't hear that part. Was the question, what was the most one person sent to you? Because I know that he had said what was the most one girl had made, and I think it was like $40,000 or whatnot, right? Like your best girl, what does she make? $40,000. All right, cool. So he gets 36, she gets 4. Gotcha. That's the game that he's going on. 10% return, he gets 90%. He has 15 girls working. Do the math. He just said, how much has one person sent you? And my next question would be, who the hell is sending someone $1 million?
I'm for moosing these dudes, right? So sell the dream, sell the dream, sell the dream. We got to the point where we had these guys selling their houses, life savings, loans, all of it to me. Give me it all.
What was the most that one person sent total?
Million?
Wow. Feel bad or no?
No. To give you solitary.
The thing I don't understand is, like, he's just openly stating, like, I have literally milked so many desperate dudes out of, like, their hard-earned dollars. And all of the funniest part about it is, of course, that, like, so many of these dudes that watch are exactly those desperate dudes. They're in the Hustle University. They're in the Hustle University scam. They love him. They're like, oh, man, you're such a top dog. That would never be me. Haha, look at those chumps. It's like, bro,
Yeah, what was the term? Top G? These guys that were writing for this guy all called him Top G, Top G, Top G. That was the term, right? So all of these guys that he has already confessed, I don't give a damn about you. The only thing I care about is how can you get me paid? The thing about it is, he found a niche. Call it what you want to, but he found a niche. He found a market. He found a market of young men, young impressionable men that will look at him and say, man, I want to be like that guy. And he's just openly confessing, I scammed everyone. If I can make $1 off of you, I really don't care. I don't care how you feel about it after.
That is you. You're paying him $50 a month.
Some told me to get fucked, go back on a plane. 2 of them stayed. And the 2 who stayed worked for me for a very long time. And from there, for about the next 4 years, it built into an empire where I ended up having 75 girls, 5 locations. I was turning over $4 million a month, and it all kind of, it went crazy from there. And yeah, so that's the story of the webcam business. It's kind of what it is. And
Don't forget, my girls were making us money too. Don't forget that. I'm just saying. Well, you think I was just what? Sitting with my feet up being like, well, you lost all the money in the casino. So, no. I was doing the exact same thing, just for the record.
So the webcam had you and the other girls.
No. It was just the girls.
Oh, it was just a girl.
I was just a manager. And you know what's actually really interesting?
You were the pimp.
I was the pimp.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of my webcam empire. So I had 2 girls and me sleep in one bed, threesome every night, little happy family, 12 hours a day of broadcasting online. And they weren't making that much money. And I was analyzing their chats afterwards, and I could see why. Just saying dumb shit. Dumb shit, bro. Like, if they were sitting there talking to an old guy, and the old guy would say, what kind of guys do you like? She'd say, I like young guys with good body and money. To some old fat dude.
Wow.
Why kill his dream?
But that's in the game.
Why kill his dream? I say, no, you need to say, I'm tired of these young guys messing me around. I want a guy who's been through that phase in his life, looking for something more stable. You know, and if you get a young guy, you need to say, I'm tired of these old perverts hitting on me. Finally, I'm talking to a hot guy. So you need to play into the fantasy. So I'm trying to teach these bitches. So it gets to the point where after the work shift, we're sitting around at dinner, and I'm like, look, here's how you sell this. A proper businessman. Here's how you do this. Here's how you do this. Listen, ho, you said this wrong. I had transcripts. of their webcam chats.
Damn.
No, highlight, no, do
business.
this, change this, trying to teach them, right?
Yeah.
And then I realized, you know what's easier than teaching these bitches? I'm just going to do it myself. So I had about 4 months till my next fight. And I thought, it takes me 3 months to get in shape. I got 1 month off. And for that month, I sat the girl on camera, gave her a keyboard that wasn't plugged in, and she'd just go like this. And I sat behind the screen, and I finessed the dudes. Me, myself. I was a cam girl. Bro, I sat there myself and pretended to be a cam girl and said all the right things. And with these 2 bitches, I made 110 grand in my first month.
Damn.
2 girls that decided to stay with you.
2 girls that stayed with me. I rinsed it. Because these guys were talking about World War II and shit. All the fucking, bro, I knew all of it, bro.
Yeah.
They were like, I can't believe you know. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm from Russia. We're taught in school. The dude thought she was some World War II historian. This bitch didn't know nothing. She's a bimbo. She could barely suck a dick.
If you appear on webcam and you get your dick out, these women know you're a loser. I was about to say, they are losers. My customer base was losers. Like, someone like me would never do that, but that's why I could run a business like this. If you have an interest in webcam girls, an interest in pornography, an interest in masturbation, you're never going to make money doing this. You have to be a guy like me or you're never going to pull it off.
The gayest thing you can do is buy pictures of a chick's tits. Every single girl who's making huge money on these platforms are doing it either for a man or by the direction of a man. So all the money you spend on girls online ends up going to a dude. It's effectively gay.
And also, I like Eastern Europe as a whole because corruption's far more accessible. I find it offensive that a police officer in England will stop me for speeding and then refuse to take a bribe and pretend that... No, but I'll tell you why. Because he'll sit there and go, no, this is the law and order, and pretend that the law means something and fuck me over. But if you're a billionaire or if you're Boris Johnson, you can go to Epstein's Island. You can fucking throw parties during COVID. You can do whatever the fuck you want, right? So the whole idea of law and order is a lie. The whole idea of it's bullshit. It's just about if you're high enough, you can throw it all away. I'd rather be in a society where if I'm in Prague and they stop me for speeding and they say, bro, you were speeding. Oh, here's $50. All right, cool. Bye. If corruption exists, which it does, let us all play. Why do only they get to play and I don't get to play?
What is freedom to you, Dave?
Freedom to me is like being able to do whatever you want.
Do you think you can do whatever you want in America?
No.
I live in Romania, right? Romania is not a free country, technically. Do you think I could get away with doing more here than I could do in America? If I were to get my shear on and drive at 200 miles an hour down the high street in the middle of the city, do you think I'd get in more trouble here or more trouble in America?
Probably in America, but it does depend who you are. There's plenty of people who have gotten away with things in America. It's like, how the fuck did they get away with that?
Correct. So this is the exact point. Every single system, all of them are corrupt. The judicial system's corrupt. The medical system is corrupt. The financial system's corrupt. It's all corrupt. It's all a matter of who you are. Now, in America, the game is limited to ultra billionaires who control the government, as you've said. In other countries, anyone with money and some basic social skills and some nice friends can play the game. If we're going to accept that every single system on the planet is corrupt, why would you live in a place where you cannot access to corruption? Does that make sense logically? Or would you rather live in a system where you can say, you know what? I am important enough within said society that if the police stop me, I can give them $10 and they'll fuck off.
Even though the Romanian politicians, and I have very high friends in Romania, And I have casinos in Romania which I've been trying to reopen. So I've had meetings with high-level Romanian politicians offering them bribes. And they've sat there and said, we know Corona's bullshit, but the EU's giving us relief funds, billions and billions. We have to comply with make lockdowns. We're all sitting there with no masks. Everyone knows. Shadow figures are in charge of all this junk.
Kristen, why does everyone think we're mafia? We're not mafia. Like, we don't run around with machine guns. I mean, obviously we have guns. Our house is full of machetes. Are we mafia? Anyway, I don't think I'm mafia. So I said to Tristan, look, we're not mafia. And Tristan goes, yes, we are. And I said, why? He goes, we're two huge fighting brothers with women naked on the internet who own casinos, who drive around Bucharest, Romania in over $2 million worth of fucking supercars. Everyone's afraid of us. And if anyone did piss us off at any point, even if we didn't want to fuck them up ourselves, we can make one phone call and they'd either be in a ditch or lose any right to stay here. They'd have some visa issue and get kicked out the country, or arrested for no reason and put in a jail cell for months at a time. We are basically as mafia as you can get. So I guess I'm mafia. I didn't mean to be. So I was sitting there going, well, I never intended on being an organized criminal. How do you end up being mafia? And I've concluded. Right, point 7. Don't.
Self-snitching is a hell of a thing, boy. Self-snitching is a hell of a thing. Mafia, criminal, all the words that he's using. I guess he naturally assumed that if he continues to just use these words because he has money, nobody would ever touch him. But now the Romanian government has now turned around and bit him. So, self-snitching is a hell of a thing.
Don't get legal before you get rich. But when I lived in England, I refused to pay tax. It was 40%. So then
I refused to pay tax. It was 40%.
So I did a deal with them to open them on the sly and pay bribes. So I was open for like the first month with bribes. But the bribe kept going up because it's Romania, right? The police chief would come, he wants some. And the police chief would call his mate, who's the fucking, I don't know, fire inspector, some jackass, he'd come. Then the alcohol licensing man would come. It was just like everyone's got on the phone like, hey, this casino's still open. They'll pay you to go away. So before you know it, every 5 minutes, someone's in the door for money. And we weren't making money, so we had to close down. So
real G's need.
Get me out of jail.
Well, the law says
you're guilty. I said get me out of jail.
So before we found our lawyer, we met a bunch of lawyers here in Romania. We were like, look, I mean, speeding was a topic we brought up. Interviewed some bimbo in her suit who sat there and started talking about laws to us. Well, if you're banned from driving and you get caught driving, what's going to happen?
I don't go see a lawyer to talk about the law.
And she said, well, then you go to jail. And Andrew looks at her in the face and said, not if I have the right lawyer, I don't. And we left.
Yes, right.
What? You're telling me that I'm going to go to jail?
Then why am I going to hire you?
Failure.
I walked in there and said, listen, I've committed multiple felonies. I've committed multiple felonies. I've committed multiple felonies.
You serious?
Am I going to go to jail? Well, probably. Well, then see ya. Bye. Why would I give you my money? You're useless. I went into some other man. That was a female. I went to a man's office, said I've committed multiple felonies.
There are things we can do. We could try this, we could try that.
No problem.
I make one call.
You don't go to jail.
There's no problem.
No problem.
We send somebody else to jail.
We send him. He is the new Andrew. He shave his head and he go. I'm like, all right, it's cool. That's the lawyer I want.
That's the lawyer I want.
So nobody wants, when you're talking to your legal clients, don't start talking Mr. Legal Schmiegel. Because you think you sound smart. Well, I went to law school and it says on page...
We don't care about the law.
It says on page 48 of the Geek Bible that on the .214 that if I'm a nerd, and then Scott Adams called me. No one cares.
How can you help me?
How much
fix
does
my
it
problems?
cost to make this all go away?
That's what we want to hear.
Long time ago now.
Yeah, I think that was an appropriate place to stop. There's more. Oh, there's so much more. But in terms of this one, I think that is a very appropriate place to stop. Because understand something, the Romanian government, they're going to look at all this tape. And they're going to look at all his confessions. And then they're going to look at the people that he's met up with. They're going to look at the casino that he opened. And then they're going to look at all the people that came to his door asking for money, checking dates, checking times, checking cameras, checking transactions. They're going to look into all of his records. And then when they finally come to show up at your door and put you away, believe you me, they've already done all the groundwork. So now when they put you in cuffs for the last time, it's because now they actually have what they were looking for. We'll get to part 2 maybe tomorrow. All right? There's only so much that I could take in. Goodness gracious. That's all I got for now, y'all. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like, and I will see you guys again on the next one. Be easy, y'all.